Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'd like to actually talk about the breakfast crisis that we're having here in the United States and all over the world. I really do think that the prices for breakfast in general, going out, I have seen a lot of things over the last 2 years or so, maybe 2 to 3 years with breakfast prices. I'm pretty sure all of you have as well. Not everybody is paying the same amount for breakfast. Here in California, everything is getting very, very expensive. People are paying astronomical prices to be able to go out with their friends on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. I know myself, over the years, I used to love having a good Sunday breakfast with my family, going out, but it's just gotten really, really ridiculous, the amount of money that people are being charged, especially nowadays with the fact that everything has gone up. It's gotten really worse. And as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So my sister, she actually decided to go to a local Mexican spot, which Mexican food is great. I love Mexican food. I'm not knocking on these restaurants. They do have good service. Their food is great. But she sent me a picture of a receipt she just took yesterday. It was at a place here locally where I live. And her and her husband decided to have chilaquiles. For all of you that don't know what chilaquiles are, it's a Mexican staple for breakfast. A lot of people have it. It's usually a fried tortilla chips with, you could put eggs, cheese, and either a green or red sauce. And it's very good. Sometimes people eat it with beans or, potatoes. And it's usually a pretty satisfying meal. So anyway, so they went out there. He did end up getting a Diet Coke for $3.75, which in my opinion is a little overpriced. Most places right now for a soda, they're charging you maybe closer to $3. But I've seen some places here in California, they're charging close to $5 now just for a soft drink. So a lot of people are opting to get water. I've noticed over the years more and more people, when we go out to restaurants in the past that I've gone out with people, they're just opting to get water. Some people decide to get lemon, and then some people even get creative and they put the lemon in the water and a little bit of sugar, and that is their lemonade, and they don't pay a dime for the drink. Some places are getting smart though. They actually are not providing you regular water, tap water. They're actually providing you bottled water, so they do charge you maybe $2 or whatever it is. So but anyways, they did get 2 plates of chilaquiles, which came out to $30, so that's $15 a person. That's reasonable, but it's still high in my opinion, because like I said, it's just tortilla chips. But this is the kicker on this receipt that caught me off guard, that they actually charge them for the meat, which is the carne asada, the meat that comes with the chilaquiles. They actually were charged extra on top of the $30 that they already paid for the 2 meals. And then they also got charged for the eggs. So it looks like, from what I'm reading on the receipt, that they got charged $8 for the eggs. So I don't know how many eggs were in the plate, but let's just say it's like 2-3 eggs. They got charged $8 for those eggs. And they also got charged for the meat, which was $12. So we're talking about $6 per plate for meat, plus the eggs, plus the plates. So everything is a la carte. Plus, they got charged for one tortilla. They got charged $2, which is totally insane, because $2 you can buy probably 12 of them at the store. So we're talking about, just on that, $55.68, which is ridiculous. Plus, this company still had they still had the balls, they still had the courage to be able to charge them a surcharge for using the credit card, which I don't know how legal that is. Usually credit card companies, they frown upon that for merchants to charge a credit card surcharge fee. Now, I do know some companies, they do charge a surcharge fee when it comes to having like a certain minimum spend. So if someone goes into a restaurant and spends a very small amount of money, they will charge. But if it's over $10, they won't charge it. So I think that that actually was very, very unjustifiable. If I was the person charging that bill, I would definitely waive it. But that's another $1.61, which is almost 3% of the amount. And then on top of that, they're charging taxes. Now, usually the taxes, they should be charged on certain foods. So I don't know. To me, I think that's ridiculous. And then on top of that, they did leave a pretty generous tip. My sister and her husband, they're very generous tippers, so they did leave $11 of tip. So at the end of the day, they spent $73 for two people to be able to have breakfast at a local Mexican spot. Now, that's just ridiculous. Even if you got rid of the majority of the tip, you're still talking about over $60. That's insane. Now, the thing is like I said, this is in California, so obviously this isn't representative of everything that's happening nationwide. Not everybody is paying these types of prices. Now, I have really cut down my breakfast outings a ton. I mean, I used to go out to breakfast all the time before 2020. I think one of the last times that I actually went to breakfast, usually if I go to breakfast, usually someone else pays for it lately. Someone will invite me and they say, hey, I'll pay for it. I say, all right, you know, I've done favors for people. Sometimes people will do favors back. But I did go out to a breakfast spot maybe about a year and a half ago with a client. And we did end up getting, I think it was just a regular American breakfast, possibly an omelet plate, maybe 2-3 eggs. And I think one of us had an orange juice and nice tea. And that came out to about $55 after tip. And this was about 2 years ago. So they couldn't blame egg prices because at that time the egg prices weren't that bad. Yes, the inflation was starting to kick in. But even then, I mean, $55 for breakfast is just insane. And this was 2 years ago. At that time, I think that's when I started realizing that this was just getting out of control. And I think that's when I started cutting back. I do remember one time I went to another breakfast spot, not too far from that date. I think it was around 2022. And I decided to join my breakfast with some orange juice, which I've stayed away from orange juice for the most part. It has a lot of sugar, people have told me. So anyways, so I've cut back down on that. But I did order a glass of orange juice, and I didn't realize how much it was going to be. I just thought maybe it was $3, you know, whatever it is. $6 for a small glass of orange juice. That was probably, what, 10 ounces? It was freshly squeezed, so it was good orange juice. But this was just insane. $6, that was another bellwether. That was another indication of, hey, you know what? You need to stop eating out breakfast. Just in general, I think eating out is bad for you. Once in a while is okay if you want to treat yourself. But for all these people right now in 2025 that are eating out multiple times a day, multiple times a week, multiple times a month, it adds up. I would like to know how many of you out there that are watching my videos are actually going out and spending, you know, this type of money multiple times a day, because this is breakfast. This is the cheaper option, right? You would want to go to Denny's and spend, you know, $5, maybe $6, $7, $8. I don't know. Nowadays, everywhere you go, any breakfast spot, you're spending $15, $20, $30 now for one person. It's just insane. I do reminisce the days where you were able to go get breakfast and spend, I don't know, $8, $7 and get away with it. But that's not the case anymore. I think the only places where you can actually still get those type of prices would probably be closer to the central U.S. maybe. I think I have a friend in Tennessee. I have people that I know in Tennessee, and Sometimes they do brag about how much they're still paying. Their prices have gone up. There's certain parts of the United States where you can still keep them low. A lot of these places are cash only, or they're just mom and pop places. They tend to spend, people can still get away with spending under $10 for breakfast. It's not that common, but there's still spots out in the US that you can still do that. There's actually spots that are actually cheaper than Mexico and other parts of Latin America in the US. I've compared prices when I've gone south of the border. I've gone to Mexico, I eat breakfast at south of the border, whether it be at the border towns or even south further when I've gone on my trips. I'm still spending over $10 for breakfast. I get, you know, chilaquiles plates. I could still probably get it. I mean, actually, you can still get a good chilaquiles plate south of the border for about $10 or so, maybe a little bit less depending on where you go. If you go into a little bit of a fancier place, maybe you're spending $12, $13, $14, but the prices that these restaurants are charging in the US is just getting ridiculous. I think a lot of people are starting to check out of that. I don't think that, I think a lot of people have checked out. They've said no more to it. But I do think there's still a large sector of the population that is just spending still. Doesn't matter if it's $30, $40, whatever it is, they're still spending it. A lot of people are making $20 an hour plus, you know, people are making a lot of money right now. So because of that, I think that a lot of people are comfortable with spending that. But for the people who have seen $7, $8, $12, $15, $20, it's ridiculous. It's, but like I said, I would really like to know how many of you out there are actually spending this type of money. I don't think there's too many. I think that a small sector of the population is actually getting charged this amount. I do think that the majority of the US is still not at this point, but I do think that we're getting closer to seeing at least $50 in a lot of parts of the nation, especially if you go into bigger cities. I think it is getting very common for two people to spend $50 for breakfast. And if you're going out to lunch, it's the same thing. Fast food, I strongly recommend people try to stay away from fast food as much as possible. I myself have been eating more at home. I actually have food delivered that I've been doing that. Actually, ever since around the time when I found out that it was just getting insanely expensive to be able to eat out, I decided to join a meal plan with this company. It's called Trifecta. And I don't follow it to the T. I don't eat all my meals with them. But I do get meals delivered every single week. And I try to at least have a large portion of my meals when I'm at home through this company. They deliver it. I'm able to choose the type of meals. If I want to go keto, if I want to go Whole30, if I want to go more, you know, whether it be seafood or meat or whatever you want to do, you can customize it to your wants and needs. You can use, choose some breakfast items, lunch items, dinner items, and they're very well-balanced meals. They keep you on point. And not only that, but after you've eaten these types of meals for a while, your body adjusts to it. And when you actually do decide to go out and eat with people at restaurants, your body has already adjusted to a certain amount of portion. So at first, you think that, oh, wow, this is too little food. But no, restaurants nowadays, a lot of restaurants nowadays really pack in the food. Now, lately, restaurants are skimping. They're not giving the same portions that they were in the past. The portions that were given in the past, especially if you compare them to Cheesecake Factory, it's just insane how much food they actually serve you in Cheesecake Factory. It's just two people can eat one meal, and most meals are over 1,500 calories. So I don't recommend for one person to walk into Cheesecake Factory and eat the entire meal. For those people that do, I mean, to me that's gluttony. Usually you can eat half of the meal, take half of it home. So and those prices have even gone up. You know, I've treated myself to Cheesecake Factory. I do have I have a credit card, an American Express credit card, that gives me $10 a month credit, and one of the credits is a Cheesecake Factory. So once in a while, I'll go into Cheesecake Factory and I'll use that $10, which doesn't go too far, but the prices there are also, any meal that you want to go for lunch is like, you're spending $30 for lunch, maybe even more. So that $10 doesn't go too far, but if I go there once a month, it's not going to be that bad. It's not detrimental to your health, and it's not detrimental to your pocketbook. You are treating yourself, but again, I think a lot of people, they've gotten so accustomed to eating out every single day that can be detrimental to your pocketbook, especially if you start adding up how much money you're spending every single week and every single month. And all that money, if you grabbed a portion of it and you invested it, that could actually do wonders to your health, your financial health, and to make sure that you continue to build upon the nest egg that you have. And the emergency fund, it's very important to have an emergency fund. And not only that, but by you eating out every single day and spending money on all this food, sometimes it doesn't sit well with you. Maybe you have to go to the doctor. Maybe you have to, maybe you have issues, underlying issues that you're not aware of. And it's all because of all the stuff that they use to be able to cook the food. So you don't really know how these chefs are cooking it. You don't know the type of things that people are using at restaurants. They're not going to use the best quality things, right? So we all know that if we do our research nowadays in 2025, there's a lot of good ingredients that you can use, better ingredients that you can use to be able to cook your meals at home, healthier ways, healthier. I think there's a big movement in that. But there's still a large sector of the population that still continues to not care, continues to eat all that junk food, and continues to throw away their money. So I know my sister's not going back to that place. She was traumatized. And the thing is it's just exaggerated, you know? So that meal shouldn't have been $73. I think that the most they probably, in today's economy, I don't know, maybe $30, $35. I think that would have been a little bit more reasonable. But like I said, we're living in a clown economy right now. Everything is just overinflated, and there's no more sense nowadays. You know, maybe these employees here, maybe they're making very good money. Maybe they're paying their servers an astronomical amount of money. I don't know. Or maybe the restaurant's keeping the profits. I have no idea. All I know is here in California, you know, people are making, I don't know, 20-something dollars an hour, 20, I don't know how much the servers are making there. But I do know that with the tips, I hope that the tips there, I hope they all go to them. I hope the restaurant doesn't take those tips. That would be very, very unjustifiable if those tips that they gave, if the restaurant took a portion of it. So I know that there's a lot of places out there that they do share tips amongst everybody. So that's why it's very good to tip the people that deserve it, right? So that's another thing, that not everybody deserves a very, very good tip. There's places that their service is horrible, and yet people are still tipping them, you know, 20% and beyond, which I think it's what it's doing is it's putting these servers and this wait staff, it's giving them, it's boosting their ego, which means that they can continue to give bad service, and they know that they're going to continue to get the good tips coming in, right? So if you do tip, make sure that the people that do get it deserve it. I'm not against tipping. You know, I have clients, people that I prepare their taxes for, that they even tip me on top of the fee that I charge, which I appreciate it. I don't reject it. But at the same time, I know that right now tipping culture has gotten out of control. Everywhere you go, everybody wants a tip. Baristas want a tip. Dry cleaners want a tip. Valet parking wants a tip. Everybody wants a tip, which if you feel like you have the money for it and the means, go ahead and give them a tip, something that's reasonable. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of people that do over tip, and that is what's messing up. That's what's messing it up for everybody else. If you're over tipping someone, then they get used to that, and then they want everybody else to tip them that amount, which is unusual. So people collectively need to start putting the brakes on that and really paying attention to what matters. And just because your server has a pretty face doesn't mean you want to give her a 30% tip. She actually has to perform. If she does good work, you give her a tip. So that's just the way it is. So anyways, So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update there. Like I said, I really do think that things are getting very ridiculous, and I will continue to provide you guys other content. It's very difficult sometimes for me to coordinate videos with other people, especially with JB. He has a busy life, I have a busy life. Even though we're already in May, I still have a ton of taxes that I've extended. There's still a lot of people, even though they're extended, they still owe money. A lot of people are very anxious. There's just a lot of work pending. And like I said, 2024 was an awesome year for a lot of people. A lot of people have been paying, and there's a lot of people that owe money. I've gotten a lot of clients this past month that are very, very behind. I have several clients that are still filing 2022, 2023, 2024, and they're going to pay massive penalties. So I don't know how we're going to work that out, because a lot of people can only abate certain amount of penalties. So that's another thing that we're going to have to worry about. It's becoming crazy. So anyways, I'll go ahead and I'll leave the video here. Good luck to all you guys. Stay safe, eat healthy, try to avoid paying over $50 for breakfast if you can, which I think $50 is the breaking point in my opinion. Anything over $50 is just insane. Take care.